celebrating the anniversary or something is never so straightforward these days. No, you have to put some sort of silly political angle on it. That's just the way it is. And of course, to commemorate the landing on the moon. I mean, if let's say you're a certain type of journalist who leans a certain way. I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, how are you going to write about the moon landing but make it, seemingly meaningful in today's climate? Well, you go how moon landing conspiracy theories influence the far right. But that's exactly what you do. That's what you do. That's what you go for. You wouldn't just like talk about it, and how it inspired people, or maybe you could do it about how it was a Cold War thing, the race to get to the moon. I mean, I wouldn't mind if someone did that, referenced how we're going through we still have some sort of Cold War type tensions with Russia, maybe reference that. I'd be okay with that, but this is of course, who is it? Georgina Lawton. Who's she? I don't know. Her. That's who. It's sorry, I'm pointing the right. It's. I gotta forget. This is. It's her. That's who that is. So it's you got to put your far right angle on it. I mean, everything's far right, isn't it? Isn't it? People don't even apparently. If you're driving in your car, you're not allowed to turn left anymore. You can only turn a very hard far right in your car. That's all you're allowed to do these days, So someone can write an article about it. Hey, they're going to change cars. They're going to change roads. You can only turn left and go around in circles from now on. So it says, I mean, what's the point in even? Well, what is the point in even reading this? I don't know. Entertainment? Yeah, I suppose so. Half a century has passed since NASA launched its spectacular mission to the moon, broadcasting the first of its 6 to million around the world in 1969. But since then, conspiracy theorists have pored endlessly over the footage, photography, and details around the expeditions, claiming they never took place at all. And this phenomenon has become more widely believed in recent years. A 2019 YouGov poll found that 1 in 6 British people agree with the statement the moon landings were staged. So, what does it mean? 1 in 6 people are far right? I don't know. Hoax claims first gained traction in 1976 when German-American writer Bill Kaysing self-published a book entitled We Never Went to the Moon, America's $30 billion Swindle, in which he stated that there was only a 0.0017% chance scientists could plot a safe moon landing, and that the Apollo 11 craft could not have withstood the intense heat of the Van Allen radiation belt, a giant area of magnetically trapped, highly energetic charged particles surrounding Earth, as it was fired into space. Well, people have been into space since then, haven't they? And that hasn't been debunked. So, they did, didn't they? So I guess that's dealt with. Is it? Kaysing also claimed that after the craft, it's supposed to say craft, all right? Huh? What are you doing with these spelling mistakes and shit? What's that all about? Blasted off into orbit, it simply waited up there, circling the planet for hours while the rest of the world watched scenes that painstakingly crafted in a television studio in Area 51. Well, it would be Area 51, isn't it? It's a hot topic at the moment. But of course, the whole the Moonland fake. I swear, what's the film called? Concorde. Oh, what is that film called? Capricorn 1. Yeah. Capricorn 1. Capricorn 1 is the film where they basically fake a mission to Mars. In the golden age. In the 70s was like a golden age of conspiracy theory movies. And Capricorn 1 is one of those. And it's about they fake a mission to Mars, and then they sort of hold these astronauts kind of hostage and get them to partake in these fake walking arounds on Mars and stuff. They threaten their families if they don't play ball and so forth. And a lot of the theories come from that film, you know, and all the Stanley Kubrick stuff as well. You know, it's just fun, isn't it? Isn't it just fun? I think people have missed out on the point of that conspiracy theories are actually fun. You know, I like to talk about them in a fun way. I don't like it when people start. You know, I like to go into real conspiracy. You know, not but fun ones are fun to talk about. You know, I like lunatic conspiracies. Flat Earth is hilarious. You know, the gay hip hop conspiracy theories. I love all that stuff. It's hilarious. It's just because you never know what they're going to come out with. They'll come out with something, which is a good point to sort of brush on here. It's always funny to see what they'll come out with. What I'm saying here is that, you know, it's all very well to go on about like far right conspiracy theorists and far right theories and the right wing and blah 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 blah, but yet we entertain conspiracy almost daily these days with just far left political ideology and writers like this, like continuously. It's amazing what stuff they'll come out with these days. You know what I mean? It is fucking mind-boggling. Like everything's a problem. Like how a conspiracy theorist. So take the gay hip hop conspiracy theories. You know, hip hop has been hijacked by the man. So they, you know, they're hell bent on turning all African American men gay, so they don't procreate. That's the fit. That's basically what it's. You know, that's what they want to do. And seeing what they use as evidence is just hilarious. It's like going, what? Like they'll just point out, well, look at this. Huh? Look at Birdman kissing Lil Wayne on the lips. Eh? Eh? Why is Young Thug wearing that dress? Eh? And it's always like that. And that's just like the good ones. That's when you're going, well, I could see a sort of point. And then there's, you know, and then they'll just come up like Illuminati conspiracy theories when they just see a triangle somewhere. They go, well, that fucking, yeah. And it's like, my girlfriend's got a fucking Illuminati thing on her chest. Do I think she's a master puppeteer of the world? I don't know. She could be. I don't know what she's up to when she ain't with me. I don't know. She could be in a massive cabal with fucking Jew spiders controlling everything. I don't know, do I? Point is, they'll point out all this sort of stuff, right? And then expect you to go, oh, right, oh, yeah. But the media do this all the time. Like, continuously these days. Everything to do with Russia. Anything to, whether it's Donald Trump or Brexit or, you know, Russian bots are responsible for everything. This is continuous conspiracy peddling by left-wing media outlets. It's just fake, you know, right-wing ones as well, but left-wing media, like the amount of conspiracy, anything that's said by anybody, going, well, this is exactly what it means. This is what they mean. This, do you know what this is? It's like no, and that's not real. You're entertaining stuff that's a fantasy continuously and perpetuating fantasy talk, which is what conspiracy theories are sometimes. It's just fantasy. Have you got the audacity to start pointing fingers around going, when you're absolute lunatics? Like, you're loons. You're loon bags. Like, do we need to mass incarcerate people at this rate? You know, so many people are going to get sectioned at this rate. You know, there's not enough room to contain them. There's not enough psychiatrists to deal with this crisis. You know, let's skip whatever. It's worth considering how Kaising's moonlanding theories have spread so rapidly in an age before the internet, and how this widely believed phenomenon has come to influence the 21st century concept of fake news and the right-wing agenda. Here we go. When Kaising published his controversial book, American faith in the government was at an all-time low. Yes. Hence, look at Hollywood movies at the time. All great conspiracy theory thrillers from that time. In 1969, classified government documents known as the Pentagon Papers were leaked to the New York Times and proved that President Lyndon Johnson had knowingly misled the US public into believing the government had a political mandate to engage in the Vietnam War. Then the Watergate political scandal, and blah, 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 blah. We know this, yes. Conspiracy theories can be a powerful way to challenge the efficacy of institutional power, but often they are also a way of affirming long-held beliefs known as confirmation bias. Wow. Confirmation bias. Yes, let's not go into that one, shall we? Or attempting to comfort ourselves during chaotic, difficult to digest incidents. As Christopher French a professor of psychology at Goldsmiths University of London, explains in his Scientific American article, as a species, one of our greatest strengths is our ability to find meaningful patterns in the world around us and make causal inferences. We sometimes, however, see patterns and causal connections that are not there, especially when we feel that events are beyond our control. Like, I don't know, gender pay gaps and stuff like that, I suppose. Moonlanding denial continues to permeate popular discourse, but these theories are now increasingly linked to far-right ideologies. Are they? In 2001, Fox News aired a documentary called Did We Land on the Moon? And in 2018, the University of Cambridge released the findings of the largest ever cross-national study conducted on conspiracy theories and found a direct correlation between conspiracy theories and populist politics. Voting for Brexit and Trump was found to be associated with a wide range of conspiratorial beliefs, with researchers uncovering that these groups are more likely to believe climate change is a hoax, vaccines are harmful, and that Illuminati-style groups rule the world. Okay, now, I'm going to call bullshit on this one. I'll call bullshit on Illuminati and vaccines. That is believed, like all kinds of lunatics believe that stuff, right? People I know who are skeptical about vaccines are very left-leaning people. All right, Illuminati conspiracies, that's across the board. You don't just fire that off to the far right or the right wing and the far right. There's a fucking myth. Half the people who are 99% of people who are called far right, who are labelled far right, are not. This is a fucking myth. It's a bogeyman. It's a fucking bogeyman. You want to hear a real conspiracy theory? I'll give you plenty. But this is a nonsense. Okay. Now, climate change is generally not believing climate change is generally considered like a right-wing conservative thing. But well, in America, even though like climate change, who clamped down? Who were the first people in the UK to like acknowledge climate change and shit? I remember it was the Margaret Thatcher's government in the 80s when they banned CFC gases and everyone was talking about the ozone layer. Back then, you had Conservative MPs telling us that London was going to be underwater by the year 2000. Yes. And now what are we getting told now? We have 12 years left by other. So don't be going off on this. Who started it? Like who said it first? Because I remember who said it first. I think like in America, it is different in America, but over here, I mean, not here because I ain't in the UK, but in the UK, I'm telling you, I remember shit. When they banned fridges, when they banned aerosol cans because of the ozone layer. That was a Conservative government that pushed that. Do you really think that Arthur Scargill and all the miners that didn't want the coal mines closed down would have entertained the concept that burning coal was bad for the atmosphere? Do you think they would have entertained that? Extremely socialist people. Do you think they would have entertained that concept? Which would have put them out of a job? Do you think they would have been in denial? Like, come on. So, shh. They also found that 33% of British and French people believe their governments are obscuring the truth about immigration, and that many also supported a theory known as the Great Replacement, which posits that Muslim immigration is part of a plan to make Muslims the global majority. Well, Islam, I mean, and other religions, there's some religions that genuinely want to, get everyone to join in. That's why we had Christian missionaries, isn't it? Spreading the word. Why do you think Islam and Christianity have spread right across the globe to all kinds of crazy places? So, I don't know about the Great Replacement. I don't know. I've never heard of that. The Great Replacement, like it's some. But you're talking about what? People entertaining conspiracy because they don't believe the government, because the government politicians just constantly talk shit. They're just narcissists. They just want to get in power. They'll say whatever the fuck they want. The media consistently pumps out nonsense. Doesn't even fact check or research anymore. It's not even necessary that they're lying. They're just desperate. They want clicks, and they don't have the time or the care anymore to do proper research or to give. Well, there's no such thing, and there's no such thing as objective truth. There's no objective media. There's never anything objective. It's either from this side or that side. There's nothing objective. There's no objective politicians. There's no objective voices in the media. There's nothing objective. We are We are literally just rolling around, being pulled this way and pulled that way, pushed this way, pushed that way. That's all that goes on. No one wants to open your eyes. Like, there's no conspiracy theory. It's just how it is, and it's fucking bullshit. And people are tired of it. So people have lack of belief in what people are saying. Like, you know, we're like scorned ex-partners. You know, we've been through a bad relationship. Now we're in you know, and we get with someone new, and it's like you're carrying all that weight and baggage with you. Like, well, you know, how do I know what you're up to? You know, I don't believe a fucking word you say. Like, you know, why? Well, because, you know, she done that, he done that. You know, it's just the way it is with me. I bruise easily, you know. It's the same thing. So 2018, basketball player Steph Curry revealed that he lacked faith in the likelihood of the moon landings being real. Well, Steph Curry, the known far-right supremacist. You know Steph Curry? That far-right nutter who plays ball. Anyway, it goes on. The legacy of the moon landings extends far beyond proven technological advances and scientific progress. It has also birthed a whole host of non-believers and right-wing thinkers whose distrust and suspicion of government forces continues to shape our social and political landscape to this day. So it's just right-wing thinkers and who distrust the government. Well, who's in government right now in the UK and in America? Yeah, right-wing governments are in power, right? Okay. They're in power. So what's this right-wing thinkers who distrust and have the suspicion of the government, right? So, okay, but left-wing people who support left-wing political parties completely trust these conservative governments, or what? Where are they in this equation? As is the case with the Holocaust and the Second World War, as time passes, truth and fact often become distorted and replaced with myth and alternative stories to support new disruptive thought. There's a damning amount of evidence that proves the moon landings actually happened, including this cool video which shows how NASA stored their moon rocks. But it's up to us to perpetuate facts and logic in order to overshadow harmful agenda-driven theories. Agenda-driven theories. This is an agenda-driven theory that you've just fucking written. That apparently is like, oh, don't believe none of the right wing. Or if you entertain conspiracy theory, you're fucking far right. What an absolute load of nonsense. You're a nonsense peddler. You are a nonsense peddler. Oh my God. You're supposed to just trust the government. Like, what the hell are you going on about? I've seen it. And isn't it wonderful how you go on about, you know, far-right conspiracy theories, and yet you use an example of someone who doesn't believe in the moon landing is Steph Curry, who's a black American basketball player who I doubt supports Donald Trump, which is apparently that's who you're aiming at. So I don't even know what the fuck you're going on about. What are you going on about? This is nonsense. It was just entertained by the far right, believing in such things as what was it? What are they believing? The Great Replacement. Climate change, vaccines are harmful. The Illuminati-style groups rule the world. Well, you haven't cited any. Shut up, man. Yeah, go tell that to all the, you know. Go somewhere and interview a bunch of people who believe in Illuminati's type groups and master puppeteers of the world. And go have a chat with them and ask them about their political beliefs. You know, go do that. But this is nonsense peddling. It's just a baseless article that just doesn't do it. Just doesn't show anything. And also, you got to remember, a lot of history is you can't really fully. History is written by winners. History is also written from certain points of view, and also, you know, facts and. There's a lot of things about history that you got to be mindful of, the factors of how history is documented, the different ways we documented history. I mean, even right now, where we have access to everything, we got access. But you can still have the incidences where they'll take part of a video and take it completely out of context and create a whole narrative around it. Even though you have access to all the information, you can have access to the full video or the full audio, whatever it is, and hear it in the context and actually understand what was said and why it was said. You have all that, but it can still get twisted, even now. So think how history has been twisted anyway. So sort of start saying this kind of thing. It's like, do you know what I'm saying? I don't talk about the Holocaust and nothing like that. I'm saying all kinds of shit. You know, good God. It's just another desperate attempt to push this right-wing bogeyman, this far-right bogeyman. There's just nothing to be scared. Like, there's nothing to be scared of. Do you know what I was thinking about last night? Think about you. I constantly say this about National Action. They want you to be terrified of National Action. National Action, this far-right neo-Nazi group in the UK. It has about 100 members nationwide. All right? Right? And, like, no bodies on them. There's, like, a couple of attacks and some forward stuff. And then some dubious practices with children. And that's about it. Right? But you're supposed to be terrified of National Action. Now, think about like all the big gangs you've had in the UK over the years, whether it's like the Cheetham Hill crew in Manchester, Longsight crew, the Pitbull gang, whether it's the Pit gang or whatever they're called, and then you got Birmingham Burger Bar boys, Johnson crew, down to the Peckham boys, the Ghetto boys, the Woolwich boys, the 21. The list go on. You're talking about crews of 100 to 200 people with bodies, with guns, with charges, with people in jail for multiple amounts of vicious crimes. But you ain't scared of them. But they're actually legitimate. They're legitimate threats to society, but very small threat to society. But as in they are a legitimate threat because they've done stuff. You can go, he's in this crew, he sells drugs, he shot this guy, he murdered this guy, blah 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 blah. But the far right is like, where's the bodies? Where's the fucking bodies? Just wanted to add that. And I will keep going on about that. If you made it this far, you'll hear it again. Right. Now, no more nonsense from you, young lady. I've had it. Now, go to bed.